Hey Flock, Mike here from Epic Duck Studios, and welcome to the test bench. Today I've got a couple Citadel contrast colors I want to try out, specifically Talassar blue and Leviadon blue. I'm going to be testing these both out on this model, Sir Frogsworth from Tom Mason Miniatures. You can find him at thetommason.com. Now I've gone ahead and just base coated this model with some Citadel base Wraithbone, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one blue here on his shirt on the front, and the other on his cloak on the back, and we'll see how they look. So what I'm noticing right now is this is has like a bit of a stained glass look to it. It actually reminds me a lot of the Gilman blue glaze. Now that's probably intentional because they've also announced that they're discontinuing a few of the glazes, and Gilman blue I believe was among those. So it might just be that a matching color now exists in the contrast range. Alright, so we're going to leave that blue to dry, and we'll test out the other one on his back. This is a very vibrant neon kind of look to it, and I really like it. I could see this being really useful for gems. Probably also things like power effects. If you're trying to do like a glowing blue sword, I could see it being a good place to start. Now Leviadon blue, once I've opened it here, looks very black. Almost looks very similar to how the Shyish purple looked, if you caught my previous video using that color. So I'm going to try it here on the back. It may be one of these colors that goes on just a little bit too thickly and maybe needs to be mixed with a little medium to really get a good result. So it's kind of got roughly the color of denim, but it's very, very dark. It's actually leaving quite a bit of the highlight at the high points of the cloak showing, though. I'm pretty impressed with that because I found the Shyish purple, the color was a little more uniform than I would have liked if it was just applied straight. Whereas this seems to have a little more variety in it. Alright, let's leave those two blues to dry and see how they look when they're done. Okay, so here we have the Talassar blue and the Leviadon blue, and they're fully dry at this point. So just want to review how they look. Now the Talassar blue is the one I use on the front of the shirt here, and you can see a little bit of splotchiness to it, but for the most part it did a really good job of bringing out the little detail lines and outlining this panel of his shirt while giving the surface a pretty clear color, and I could see this working really well on slightly more textured surfaces. The thing with this model is it's a lot of very, very smooth surfaces, and what I'm finding is smooth surfaces and contrast paints don't really play well together. They like to have a lot of detail, so like a furrier model or something that's like just saturating little bits of bones or chainmail and stuff. That's where this stuff's really, really going to shine, and the bigger a surface is, the harder it's going to be to get any kind of good outcome from the contrast colors. To the point where using them on like a vehicle or a dreadnought is just basically a waste of time. There are some, workarounds, like you can sponge it on or airbrush it on, but then you're not really getting the contrast effect. You're just getting the same color, which, there's pros and cons there. Obviously you want your army to have the same color, so that makes sense, but you don't necessarily want to lose the contrast effect. Now here on the back we've got the Leviadon blue, and it's a little bit splotchier. You can see it really dug in deep into the shadows, the creases here. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do. What I'm really not happy with is just these sort of higher areas where you would expect it to be lighter. It is very, say, kind of patchy and almost watercolory, right? It's not consistent. If you're just trying to put boots on the table, you're trying to get these models done as quickly as possible, you're not going to care so much about that. But if you're trying to, maybe use this as a jump off point for a more detailed paint job, that's not really going to work for you. But certainly you could do some things, like if you came in and added some spot highlights to this cloak, I think you would get a lot of mileage out of what's already there. Now the other thing is this Talassar blue, I think would work really, really well into comic style painting because it's a super vibrant blue, but it's also quite translucent, so I think it would allow black lines underneath to show through no problem. Whereas this one's, obviously it's a little bit darker, and I think there might be a place and a time to use it, but for the most part it's going to almost like blot out the black lines because it's so dark itself. So specifically for comic style, I would definitely take a look at the Talassar blue, and I would pass on the Leviadon blue. Now for my general purpose painting, I would probably still pass on the Leviadon blue. I don't really see a lot of benefit to it. The Talassar blue, you know, you could use this for all sorts of like lizardmen, fishmen, skinks, all sorts of supernatural creatures. You know, this would work into a lot of fantasy clothing as well. So I think the Talassar blue is a definite winner here. I do like how it came out. The Leviadon blue, it seems a little more situational, and I'm less likely to recommend it. Hey, if you enjoyed this video here on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you get notifications when I post new videos. You can also join me at twitch.tv/epicduckstudios on Thursday, Friday, and Sunday evenings at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for live painting and sculpting shows. If you'd like to support this show, you can do that at patreon.com/epicduck. Every little bit helps cover the cost of paint, models, and all my video production gear, but more importantly, it helps keep food in my kid's belly and a roof over his head. I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of my patrons and Twitch subscribers, both past and present. Your ongoing support and encouragement is really what makes this possible. Thanks for watching, and until next time, do something epic.